first installment of BPI Live, which, well, it's not actually the first installment of BPI Live, but this is the first installment of the Market Update Live. I got my iPad right here. And if you guys are interested, so this is going to be more about the numbers rather than my actual, I'll throw around how I feel the market is, because when you actually establish getting the numbers, compiling the numbers, publishing the numbers, it goes out there, it's weeks behind. That's the thing, is it's usually maybe almost, it could be even a month behind, because it takes a while to get all the sales figures. It takes a while to actually compile it and everything else. So, you know, what I'm going to be talking about first is Manhattan and Brooklyn. If you guys are interested, I can add in Queens as well. These are all coming in from StreetEasy, everyone's favorite website. So, which I love StreetEasy. It's so much better for the buyers to actually see what's out there instead of listening to us and saying, wait, I thought there was more inventory or less inventory. If you're a seller, you could see what all the homes traded for, so you could say, actually, my place is underpriced, overpriced, or right at the market value. So we're going to hop right into it. Talking about Manhattan, we're going to start with Manhattan first. So the home prices rose just 1%. That's probably one of the slowest growth rates that we've had. And it's the average price, or I'm sorry, the median price is $1.1 million. After a period of falling prices on the Upper East Side, it finally increased to 4%. So the Upper East Side, there's been a ton of inventory lately, and it's really flooded the marketplace. There, in general, the Upper East Side has more, obviously, homes, development. It's more commercialized. So when you're talking to, I was actually just talking to a developer right now, and he's actually lowering his, he's rethinking the price. I shouldn't say lowering the price, but rethinking the price. And partially it has to do with the sales inventory. So the sales inventory actually rose to double digits to 12% over last year, which is a lot. So the amount of homes that are entering the marketplace, up 12% year over year. The Upper East Side, again, saw the biggest increase. Manhattan's homes, you know, so this is more a little dreary, but it's also showing that there's a, and I'll talk about the seller side, because the seller side is obviously what a lot of people talk about or want to know. You know, there's not as many buyers that follow us, more sellers or owners want to know what their home value is doing. Manhattan homes, days on the market. So we obviously talk about price, which we did. That's only up 1%. The amount of inventory, which is crucial. You know, they usually have it, you know, a healthy marketplace where an equilibrium is 6 months. So in other words, the amount of inventory that's on the market, if all the buyers went out and bought a home, how long would it take? And they're thinking 6 months. That's obviously the number that would be perfect. So Manhattan homes actually spent a longer amount of time on the market. The median days on the market increased to 61 days. That's a decent amount of time. 61 days is something you don't want to hear as an owner. You know, we only have one property that we're probably not going to be in contract with right now. This is what the way that I've been saying it is that if you price it right and you market it correctly and you show it correctly, it's going to go. But if you're trying to get that price that's a little high, it's not going to sell. It's going to sit. And then you're going to blame the market and or take it off or blame the broker or blame the marketing or something else. Right now, when you have an increased amount of inventory, you have a price that's just going up 1%, as I mentioned before. It's really coming down to the days on the market. So when it comes to rentals, that's a little bit different. Rentals kind of slides into sales. So if there's a lot of inventory on the rental side, that means that landlords are not increasing their price. So if landlords are not increasing their price, that means that people are going to stay, because people are like, you know what, my rent went up, you know, 10% or 5%. They're like, I'm leaving. You know, I'm going to go buy a place. And then they go buy a place. And they absorb that inventory. They absorb the days on the market. So when the rental inventory started really just flooding the market, that kind of leveled everything out. So right here, 18% of homes are actually offering discounts. I haven't seen that in a while. So that's on the rental side, okay? Discounts rose the most in midtown. So obviously you have a ton of places that are coming on in Hudson Yards. You have a lot that's coming on even in the 50s on the Upper West Side. There's a ton of new developments there's a stretch on West End Avenue with thousands of units. You know, I think they have 700 and something units that are coming on the marketplace in Hudson Yards, which is a ridiculous amount. They're offering 2 months free on an 18-month lease. They're offering $500 security deposit, easy. They just want to fill that because that's just there's overhead on a building like that. They have amenities, they have obviously property taxes. They want to fill that as quickly as possible, at least have the vacancy rate to like 3%, and then they'll start increasing prices. But right now they're showing 18% of homes are actually offering discounts. Moving into Brooklyn, obviously all those people that have moved back into Manhattan because it got too expensive, whether that's Williamsburg or anywhere else, the sales price stagnated, which is actually the first time that I have experienced that in Brooklyn. Sales price stagnated. The Brooklyn pricing index remained unchanged at 741,000 across Brooklyn. That's obviously everything. The inventory, which is there was a big change here in Manhattan. You're looking at 12% inventory increase year over year in Manhattan. Within Brooklyn, it was 22%. So there's 22% more homes on the market than there were last year. You obviously know what happens with prices. The buyers, they have a ton of options out there. Owners are not happy with that. So with the pricing cuts, they actually increased 11% year over year. And that was probably the most that they've had in a while, despite the L train shutdown. I've been telling a lot of not only renters, but buyers and developers to say, hey, listen, the L train's shutting down. This is not going to affect you now. This is not going to affect you, in a year. But when that happens, that's a multiple year shutdown. And right now, if you go on the L train, it's freaking ridiculous. It's a zoo. It's a circus. You have to get on like 8th or 6th Avenue to actually go into Brooklyn because there's so many people that are getting on there. I actually moved from Stuytown because it was overwhelming. Any train coming in from Brooklyn to Manhattan was so crowded. You had to wait like 3 or 4 trains for them to finally actually have an open spot to board. So North Brooklyn, which is where the L train is, despite it being shut down, prices rose in North Brooklyn 12% to $1.1 million, making it the borough's most expensive submarket. So you have the borough, and then you have the submarket, which is North Brooklyn, you have Park Slope, you have a bunch of places within each, obviously we're in midtown Manhattan, you have Manhattan, and then you have North Brooklyn it's pretty much being pumped up and decided their prices on new development. It's been heavily right along the L train. You go down there, everything is a new development. So obviously that's the only submarket that increased 12%. Rentals within Brooklyn stagnated, which is actually the first time that I heard that. Stagnated and discounts rose in North Brooklyn, which, to be honest, it was bound to happen. A quarter of rentals in North Brooklyn were actually discounted. So a quarter of the rentals in Brooklyn are discounted, which means that if there's that many discounts happening, people are not going to be looking to go and buy. So if they're not looking to go and buy, guess what they're going to do? They're going to stay in their home. They stay in their rental. That means the amount of inventory increases. If the amount of inventory and the sales increase, that means the amount of discounts and sales happen. So a 4% increase year over year on the amount of homes that are offering discounts. When you see that down arrow on Street Easy, and all these figures are from Street Easy, so they pull in from everywhere. They have all the brokerages, they obviously have the Department of Buildings, all of that. They have just an exorbitant amount of information. So what does this mean to you? If you're a buyer, you're going to have a little bit more inventory, though it may not seem like that. I'm working with a couple of buyers that are unhappy with the amount of inventory they're seeing right now. And then we have sellers that, I mentioned it in the beginning, is that if you price it right, that's the most important thing. Is it's not what you think is worth, it's what it's actually worth. We put on a place in Harlem on 117th Street. We got an offer after the first open house, didn't really work out. Then we got an offer after the second open house, but it was significantly below the asking price. The broker detailed, as they should, detailed why they felt that price, and they had to justify it, and I had to justify the price because I actually sold the unit, or actually we're in contract for a unit. So it's right now, I would say a year ago, you wouldn't have to justify the price as much. Now we do. You have to justify why you're listed at this, okay? You have the marketplace. The marketplace is very intelligent. They're very smart. They know what the home is worth because they're seeing all of your competitors. So if you guys are interested in buying or selling, obviously hit us up. With sellers, what I could say is the marketing and the showing is the most important right now. I will also say that you choosing the right agent is more important now than ever before, because you want to make sure that it's being done right. You hiring your friend Susie or your Uncle Bob because he's got a real estate license it's not going to cut it anymore. Okay, it's just not worth it. So if you guys are interested, obviously hit us up. We're going to be doing a monthly market report. We're going to be sending that out as well to all of our clients. We're also going to detail a couple of things in there that are going to be most beneficial to our clients. If you want to get on that list, shoot me a message or leave your comment with your email below. Subscribe to the video. Talk to you guys soon. We're going to be tomorrow talking about, let's see, hot topic, what brokerages, the value the brokerages are going to be having to provide. So have an awesome day. Talk to you guys soon.